One of the biggest mistakes that people make with marketing is that they try to find leads, or they try to go figure out a place to where is my audience?
Yeah.
The key is you go where the leads already are. You don't have to go find leads. You go where the leads already are. Like your clients already are buying certain things. They are already using certain tools. They are already listening to certain people. You don't have to go find new people. Just go where they already are and put yourself in front of them.
So you have a passion for fitness and the desire to start your own business. But launching a massively successful fitness business is extremely complex. The systems, operations, hiring, firing, coaching, sales, and marketing are critical to success. Where do you even start? This show will give you the answers. Here is Bedros Keuilian and Bryce Henson, your hosts of the Fitness Franchise Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms.
Welcome back, my friend, to another amazing episode of the Fitness Franchise Podcast. And before I tee up today's guest, I want to give you a friendly reminder to give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and write us an awesome review on iTunes. That way we can keep producing this content for you for free. So now I'm excited to introduce today's guest, who's a dear friend of mine way back from 2014, who's a 2 Comma Club award winner, which in the ClickFunnels world means he's an 8-figure earner. He is also the author of Internet Traffic and Leads. He also has an agency, setupmyads.com, and he just launched his internet marketing software, ebooth.com. And today you're going to learn the foundation of digital marketing and lead generation. Welcome to the show, my friend, Mr. Vince Reed. My friend Vince Reed, welcome to the show.
What's going on, man?
Dude,
good to see you.
It's been a while. How you been?
Living.
Good.
Living, man. It's crazy times, but I'm making it.
It is. For our audience, Vince and I go way back a handful of years.
Way back.
A very successful entrepreneur, digital marketer. So a lot of content to get through today, especially that's very pertinent to you and growing your business. Before we get to that, my friend, give us the backstory, how this all came to be.
Well, before I get started, I just want to say congratulations to you, man. I mean, we met, I think, when you had just got your first facility, right?
Yeah, that's literally about 8-9 years ago.
And you've just blown up. So really proud of you and excited to be here, and just thank you for that.
Thanks, Vince.
But story, like a lot of entrepreneurs, it always sounds the same. You know, we have something that's successful, it gets taken away. For me, it was the recession in 2008. Actually, it was around 2007. Lost everything, had to short sell my home, lost my car, no money, and basically did a basic search on Google, how to make money on Google. That was the search. I saw some ads that popped up, and pretty much the rest is history. I started putting 2 and 2 together, started searching online, started seeing ads pop up, and I don't know what it was, but immediately I said, if I could figure out how to do that, then I think I can, bounce back and be okay. And that's really where it started. And invested in mentorship, found a great mentor, and taught me the power of lead generation and list building. And that's pretty much been my focus for the last decade, is just lead generation and running ads on multiple platforms. I think the one thing that helped me through that time was when everything collapsed in real estate. It was like banks just said, we're not lending anymore. Mm-hmm. So my business in real estate collapsed. That's when I lost everything. I made a point in my mind to never focus in on just one thing or build a business that was controlled by one entity. So when I learned lead generation, it was during the time where people were starting to run Google ads, but there was rumblings of people losing their ad accounts. Mm-hmm. And I was one of the first to get on Facebook. And then we were running Yahoo Bing ads. So we were doing ads on multiple platforms. And that's really what kind of led me to where I am today. So that's kind of the backstory of how I got into lead generation. And
love it. I want to dive even further. Before I do, what about, because for me it was the opposite. I've always been kind of more attracted to, and just the way my mind works, brick and mortar. So something tangible I can basically execute. And that's why I opened my first Your Belinda Fit Body Bootcamp location 10 years ago. But then what I realized soon after is, okay, it's a brick and mortar business, but I need to get good at lead generation. I need to get good at digital marketing, because yes, referrals are a great way to kind of bring clients in, but digital marketing is actually on superpower. So I learned it that way. Bringing it back to you, Vince, after the real estate crash, was there something innately kind of called you to digital marketing? Do you think you had a previous skill set for it? I'm just, what called you?
There was a couple things. That's a great question. So my first business in real estate, I had a little small net branch mortgage company. So it was physical. At one point we had built up to 30 loan officers. We had a couple processors. I had no idea what I was doing. I went from a loan officer officer to having my own business, which a lot of people did back then because anyone with a pulse was in real estate. But I was buying leads. I was paying anywhere from $30 to $150 per lead. So you do the math on like 30 loan officers. And then they're coming to you, oh, these leads are bad. And like, I'm like, call that lead, right? So, so when everything collapsed, right? Everything was collapsing, banks weren't lending, and we got word that banks were still allowing FHA loans, like the government. So the broker I was working with called me and was like, we can make it, we can withstand this thing. And within the first like week, I had submitted 7 deals, FHA loans, all approvals, and every bank was closed. This is when the stock market was at like 6,000. It just was crazy, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be back, I'm gonna be fine. And at this time, my house is in like pre-foreclosure, I'm losing everything, don't have a car. Actually, I was getting, my car I was about to take it back to the dealership. I was leasing a car and the lease was up. So I had a car for another week at this point. Long story short, if these deals would have closed, I would have made somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000, right? Nice. So this is when I'm dating my wife, which you know, Cheryl, and at the time, and the night before I go into the office, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be back, we're gonna save the house, blah, 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 blah. All these deals were supposed to go what they call the docs, right? So I drive in and I have this weird feeling, and I'm like, this just something's not gonna go right. I get there, I see this email and the subject line says, sorry. And you already know what it is. So it says, sorry, we can't fund these deals, call the clients back and let them know. So I call these people back, I get cursed at, screamed at, called names, racial slurs, all kind of, it was bad, bro. But I don't blame them, they were gonna lose their house. I swore to them, this is a government loan, here's the approval, right? I mean, and then they close everything. So, I'm like, I'm done with real estate. I didn't want to tell the broker that I was leaving. I packed up my stuff. I got to the door and I stopped. I cannot go home and tell my girlfriend, now my wife, that I don't have anything. So I went on Craigslist, saw an ad that said basically make money on Google. And then I didn't know anything about the internet. Like I had processors and people that did all that. I mean, I could barely send an attachment on an email. I'm telling you, the friends that know me, they're like, you are the lead guy? Like,
that's wild.
Like they don't believe it, still to this day.
Yeah. I don't either. That's crazy.
Yeah. I went and I saw this ad, and basically that's what took me down the rabbit hole of figuring out lead generation. But the other point I want to make to people who are watching this was the reason why I believed in it so much is because I was the guy buying the lead. So when I realized what they were doing to generate these leads for 50 cents or $3, and I was paying 30 to 150 for it, it turned on something where I knew it was real and it would work. A lot of people, they don't have success because they truly don't believe. They're doing it because someone told them they could have money. Like, for example, if someone's thinking of investing in a fit body boot camp, for example, they may have doubt. Like, they need to come talk to you. You've opened up a lot of them and look at you.
Yeah.
Like, it's real.
Totally.
But a lot of people are doing it because someone said they could make money. Like, I believed it because I was the guy buying it. And once I saw how the leads were popping up, I just knew if I learned how to do it, there'd be somebody like me that would want to pay for the leads, right? So that's how I really got started as a lead broker. I would generate leads and sell the leads. That's how it was back then.
That makes a ton of sense. That's huge insight as well.
Yeah.
And I think I approached digital marketing the opposite way. And I think probably I was one of the stories that you just mentioned that, didn't have that experience, and therefore it just didn't really click or connect with me.
Yeah.
But on the Fit Body Bootcamp side, the brick and mortar, I mean, that's my wheelhouse and zone of genius. So
absolutely.
Great analogy. All right. Well, I want to get into your incredible success, digital marketing, 2 Comma Club winner, 2 Comma Club X winner. For those of you who don't know, ClickFunnels is an incredible software and platform that Vince has achieved 2 of the highest awards in the company for his digital marketing prowess. But before we get there, the one backstory I want to kind of hit on, especially from the mindset of an entrepreneur, is you're a D1 athlete. You played for the University of Colorado, like featured on TV, like the whole 9. This is back in the 90s when Colorado made their runs, win a national championship. So I really want to kind of tap into just a little bit about what that experience was like, how you got there, and really the mindset, from that D1 athlete, and really how it relates to entrepreneurs.
I think I love sports. It really prepares you mentally for life. How to deal with people, how to handle adversity, how to handle winning, how to handle losing, how to handle just when you get hurt and someone else starts in front of you, and how to get your position back, and just all these things that I tap into each and every day. But, I grew up wanting to run a football on Sundays. That was always my dream. And we kind of briefly chatted before. Both of my roommates in college both played in the NFL for almost a decade. One played for 9 seasons. The other one played for 11 seasons. And one actually ended up starting one year in the Pro Bowl. I mean, they were like legit ballers. So when I got out of school and didn't make the NFL, I got injured. In fact, I didn't even play most of my senior year. And just kind of being there, going to the games, not feeling a part of the team. We had a pretty good team that year, and not being able to play, I was depressed, man. Like, it was hard trying to figure out what I was going to do. And, thinking back, you always realize that things basically don't happen to you, they happen for you. I look back and I'm just thankful for all those things. I don't have brain injuries, and my body, although it's still a little broke up at times, I feel like I was able to get out and be able to inspire former athletes to realize that even if you don't make it in sports, there's other things that you can do to use your brain and your mind and still be successful.
Totally.
So, yeah.
We looking back at that experience to kind of put a bow, what would you say was your biggest learning lesson or takeaway from the fact that you played D1 ball at one of the best universities in the country?
Takeaway from a business perspective or just in general?
Life. It could be business, but I'm just more life or mindset perspective.
So I had a coach. He's actually the coach he's one of the, you probably know who he is. He coaches on the Kansas City Chiefs now.
Okay.
He was my running back coach. And he was, to be honest, I wasn't his biggest fan when I was there. And today, I'm his biggest fan because I realized what he taught me. One of the things he would say is no excuses, no matter what. Quarterback drops back, hands the ball off and hits your knee instead of putting it in the pocket, your fault. Quarterback throws the ball 20 feet above your hand, your fault. It's no excuses. And it just always felt like he was just trying to be an asshole for no reason. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And taking it into business and life, having that approach is always your fault, no excuses. That to me, hands down from that one coach to today is what I've taken away. Just, it's always your fault. I think the second you realize, which is early on in life, that you make the choices in your life. And a lot of times people make a lot of excuses through life, but where you are right now is a makeup of a lot of decisions and choices that you personally made. So for me, football, hands down, it was no excuses. Make it happen. Yeah. It's on you. Make the right choice.
Extreme ownership. And you probably read the book, Jocko Willink, New York Times bestseller, the title Extreme Ownership. That's literally
hands down
my big takeaway from listening to you.
And that's very tough. I mean, it's tough for people to do. Even if you ever hear someone apologize, right? They'll be like, I'm sorry, but I only did it because they're already lightning and I own it. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Even if I could have a million excuses for why it happened, I will never explain the reason or why. I just own it.
Dude, love that. Love that. Huge takeaway, my friends. And it's a football story, but this is business and this is entrepreneurship, running a business. You got to own it. So, all right, well, let's dive in. Set Up My Ads, I think, was the huge thing that kind of put you on the map and, that made you a 7-figure or 2 Comma Club earner and then 2 Comma Club X. So I want to kind of tap into your brain, how'd you do it? And then you can talk a little bit about your agency, Set Up My Ads, and then we'll story tell on some basic concepts and takeaways that, our audience can apply to their business.
Taking back just from some of the stuff I said in real estate, I made a focus to not focus in on one platform. And with marketing, it's really a strategic play more than the platform. I had a mentor who I still think is the GOAT of digital marketing. A lot of people don't know him. He actually owns an energy company today. He always taught me the power of list building, and he instilled this one principle that I don't think a lot of people even today realize. And he said, every ad platform works. He said, if someone calls you or asks you what works the best, then they already have the wrong concept of marketing. So for example, when you pay Facebook or Instagram or whatever you're doing to run ads, and you invest and you load your money into the platform, and you start getting clicks and it starts to charge you, it worked. That's what you paid for them to show your ad. If it doesn't get you sales or leads, that's your fault.
It's your fault.
It's basically human error. Everything works. Direct mail works. It all works. So once I got that, I realized how much of a strategic play marketing really was. And I think that's the difference with our agency, where it doesn't even matter the platform. I can go market on any platform and get it to work for you because it's the strategic aspect of understanding what's actually going on from the second you place the ad, the messaging, all that stuff. So yeah.
It reminds me of the difference between the strategy versus the tactic. The tactic is just the actual platform, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, etc. But if you're just focused totally on the tactic, or you don't have a full understanding of the strategy, you're missing out.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, and how you learned and I guess transitioning into your agency, can you tell us a little bit about Set Up My Ads, how that flow happened? What was the value that you provide your consumers? And then really, how'd you scale to 7-8 figures?
Absolutely. So just so everyone knows, I hate to make everyone sad, but we don't accept any more clients. We have a very long wait list, so we don't really accept clients. So I'll tell you the story. So for those of you who, I think this will help you if you are looking to hire an agency, and just some understanding of what you should be asking for or looking for, like in that process. So Set Up My Ad started where I wanted to kind of be the anti-agency, to be honest with you, because a lot of our clients, they were like coming from what it felt like a battered relationship. So they had like an agency that they worked with, and then the agency didn't deliver with their expectations, you know, what they thought should be met. So they would come to us and they'd wanted this, or the agency promised them that. What was wrong was just the whole structure of what we talked about earlier. Their process just wasn't structured correctly. So I said, well, what if we had an agency, and this is the original Set Up My Ads, that taught the basic process of structuring your ads, right? How you should structure it, like a framework. And then we evolved into, we'll give you the framework and we'll set the process up for you. And then we'll have a weekly call where you just jump on and you manage it, so you're not paying us monthly. So individuals would invest once. It started from at $2,500, it got all the way up to about $5,000. And we would set up the structure, give them the framework, and every week I would meet with them, kind of like we're talking now on a Zoom, and walk them through, look at their ads, and anything went. You could ask me a question about business. I almost was their virtual mentor.
Just kind of like process. Do some coaching.
It was coaching, and I'd look at their ads, I'd do whatever. So that's how the company scaled. And it was a very, very simple process. It made sense for the business owners. We were like, hey, you can go pay $3,000 to $5,000 to an agency a month. For a decent agency, a great agency is probably going to be $10,000 to $15,000. You got to understand, an agency's job, most agency, is to find new clients. How could that be good for you?
It's not.
Right? It's not. So that was one of the reasons we were the anti. We'll just set it up and we'll just show you, instead of you paying an agency, you could put that extra cash towards your ads and get in the profit mode a lot faster.
And what sort of businesses were your clients? We
had everyone. I mean, we had everyone from gyms to course creators to brick and mortar businesses. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're solving a problem, then you need to be putting yourself out there and building your list and generating, leads. And that was really what we would do. So we eventually evolved over the last, I'd say 7 months. We kind of changed the process where we stopped that process and basically closed Set Up My Ads and picked 10 clients that were a lot larger, and we said we're going to change the format. I had a new kind of idea really that stemmed from the problems I saw with what was happening today and with clients. And we had this idea for some software, and I said, for me to make this work, I got to go all in. So I had to literally close an 8-figure business. We took 10 clients. We said we're only taking clients to get in. It's $25,000 a month. So we flipped it, but the clients are paying up a lot to work with us, but we're like their virtual CMO. We write the copy, we set up the funnel, we run the ads, and we treat their business like it's our business. We want to crush whoever's going against you. So it's a little bit more, but it allows me to work 2 hours basically a week. I meet with our team, go over every client we have, and we're not out there looking for new clients. We just focus on the ones that we have. So if someone drops off, we have a massive waiting list, we just get another client and we just stick there while we're focusing on the software.
So kind of unpacking that box, why did you make that shift, go from a volume play and then to more of a consolidated approach, but you're just going all in on those 10 clients as an example?
Well, I believe lead generation for me is my superpower, right? So if I'm not hands-on still running ads, generating leads, then you probably just want to never follow me again. Anybody that's not practicing what they preach or living off something they did 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even 3 years ago, run. So part of it was I wanted to deal with bigger clients. I wanted to still be hands-on. I learned a lot by, the clients we're working with, they're spending, and some of them $25,000 a day, right? So you can learn a lot just from that. So it gives me a lot more insight on to help them, and also just for the software company that we launched, it just made it all better. But anyways, to answer your question more directly, we went from thousands of clients to 10. So it allowed us to focus. You have to go all in. I don't believe you can have, a lot of people try to do a lot of businesses. Another mentor quote of mine, he always used to say, if you have 10 businesses, you really don't have one, if that makes sense.
No, totally.
So it doesn't mean you can't have a lot of businesses, but you have to get them working and scaling without you before you go to them. A lot of people don't even have one working and they have all this thing and can't focus on anything, and that's why nothing actually is successful.
Famous saying, I feel like if you try to, same philosophy, you try to catch two rabbits, you get none.
Right.
So same thing.
Exactly. So that's why we said, hey, let's just work on those clients and not worry about other clients do an amazing job for them, build a team that can manage it, where I just have to jump in a couple weeks and I can go all in on building the most amazing software ever.
So we're going to talk about your software in a second. Before we do, kind of unpacking that, what would you say, and you talked about something very profound that I'm going to take with me about all the platforms work. It's just a matter of focusing in and understanding the strategy, not necessarily tactics. But what are some other like basic 101, strategies or concepts that a young entrepreneur who's just starting a business should know about digital marketing, should know about lead generation?
I was gonna save this tip for later because it's a powerful one, but I'll just say it now.
Please.
One of the biggest mistakes that people make with marketing is that they try to find leads, or they try to go figure out a place to where is my audience?
Yeah.
The key is you go where the leads already are. You don't have to go find leads. You go where the leads already are. Like your clients already are buying certain things. They are already using certain tools. They are already listening to certain people. You don't have to go find new people. Just go where they already are and put yourself in front of them.
I just had this weird thought analogy. It's like if you're trying to go quote unquote find fish, it's like, no, all you need to do is go to a river.
Right.
And then once the fish are there, that's
right.
where you look for them. You're not looking for them anywhere.
It's the whole idea of fish in a barrel, right? Shoot fish, you're shooting, or you're gonna go in the ocean, or would you rather just go fish in the barrel? I remember one time I went fishing in college in Colorado. We went to this stream and it was my ex-girlfriend's dad took me fishing, and he knew this stream where all the fish just were there. Mm-hmm. And we literally, before you even threw the thing in there, the fish was jumping out, biting. And I'm like, this isn't even fishing. It's not even hard. Every time you do it, you catch a fish, catch a fish. He's like, this is fishing. But I didn't really understand that then, but the fish were there. Same thing with marketing. Your leads are literally right somewhere right now doing something. You just need to be in front of them.
So then taking that one step further, then really the leads are there. You just got to go find where they are. So then I would imagine you have to reverse engineer that, do some market research to figure out, because depending on, for our business as an example, we typically target, middle-aged women anywhere from 30 to 55 years old. So I guess if that's my dream client, then if you were coaching me in terms of, where to run my ads or where to put my ads, you'd probably have to reverse engineer the process and be like, all right, who's your dream client? Okay, great. Mrs. Jones, she's 30 to 55. Where does a client or your dream client in that demographic spend the most time? Is that kind of the process to reverse engineer it?
Yeah. So what is she reading? What tools is she using? What books is she reading? Where does she go? Where does she shop? Just be in front of the places they already are. And sometimes it has nothing to do with the actual business itself. It may have nothing to even do with Fit Body Boot Camp, for example. But if that's your target, maybe you're targeting women who are looking at things about how they can better raise their kids. Maybe there's this huge blog of someone that's teaching women how to get their kids to sleep at night or something like that.
Another thought we're playing with is Pinterest, a hugely a platform that most women go for ideas and inspirations on fitness and lifestyle and fashion. That would be another way to reverse engineer and be all right, that's probably a good place to go fish.
Exactly. So in my world, it would be there's so many marketing tools and things that are already out there. I mean, everything from the video hosting platforms to sites like GoDaddy to, Wix to ClickFunnels. I don't have to go find new software, try to promote my thing. I just get in front of the things that they're already where they already are. And there's a million of those. So I went and I had our team create this big ebook of I think it was 200 or something resources for entrepreneurs and business owners, right? But I had them do that as a giveaway. But in reality, I was doing that because it was actual keywords and phrases for me to market. When I go to live events, the first thing I do is go to the vendor section and get every card. Because most of those, especially the events I attend to, are all businesses that are serving entrepreneurs and businesses.
Yep.
And no one is looking to bid and advertise on them. Those keywords are 5 cents. It's too expensive because they're all bidding and doing the same thing everyone else is doing. And I'm on 1,000 different companies that all are serving entrepreneurs, and I just sit in front and legally steal that traffic.
Dude, I love that. Intentionality and reverse engineering. Right. What's up, my friend? Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the CEO of FitBody. But what many people don't know is that I actually began my journey as a FitBody franchise owner. Now, being an owner, I wake up every day absolutely doing what I love. I live my passion. I help people transform their lives and have both financial and personal freedom. And it's for these reasons and many more that other owners join the brand and open their own FitBody locations too. So if you're looking to build a highly profitable business, take charge of your life, and create an impact in your very own community, then opening a Fit Body gym might be a perfect fit for you. Now, to see if a territory is available in your area, as we have very limited spots due to our incredible growth, go ahead and visit our website at fbbcfranchise.com to complete an application. Well, thanks, and back to the show. Shifting gears, and now, you went from set up my ads and then, ended up making an evolution and a pivot. But ultimately, in the last, couple of years or recently, you've now launched a software. So I want to say, look at my notes here, eBooth.
Yes.
Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes.
So talk to us about that.
So eBooth stands for Entrepreneur Business Owner Online Video.
Okay, cool.
Essentially, it's a video hosting platform that gives every video you upload. So if you've used Wistia or Vimeo before, similar to that, but every video you upload is DRM protected. That stands for Digital Rights Management. It's the same technology of like a Netflix or Hulu that allows you to not be able to log into the app and download all the movies, right? Yeah. What sparked this initial idea was a client, a former student, bought one of my programs, so that process, downloaded it legally with you can get the free scraper software and download pretty much any Wistia or Vimeo video in seconds. Downloaded it, uploaded it to some other website, and was selling my stuff for like $5. It was ridiculous, right?
Dang.
So I went and asked Wistia, I was like, hey, can we stop this? They're like, no, we don't provide any digital rights management. So that was the initial idea. But I didn't want to start a company just based on that. The real issue, or the real problem that we wanted to solve, was all of the steps that you have to put in place to even generate a lead. So most funnels are 3-step funnels. You have a lead magnet, a registration page, or an opt-in page.
So to kind of back that up, just to spell it out for our audience, what's a lead magnet page?
Yeah, so a lead magnet is like a form you go to. Usually there's like a video or some kind of like ebook or giveaway with an opt-in form. Right? So this is your standard funnel. So what happens from there is usually someone will opt in. When they opt in, it redirects them to either like a webinar or a video sales letter, or maybe like a long form sales copy to sell a product.
And when they opt in, really they're just exchanging their contact information, their name, their phone number, and email in exchange for whatever you're promising them on that lead magnet.
Right. And then from there, if you sell the product, with the video or webinar, then usually it's 2 things that'll happen. There'll be another button that takes you to either an order form or like a place to apply to get a phone call or something like that. So that's a typical funnel. It's a 3-step funnel. Every client we had, so you gotta understand, we've dealt with thousands and thousands of clients we've set up ads for. The most frustrating part, what frustrates me and them, is getting that set up. Because you get this lead magnet, this page to get leads, and it's not getting leads. They run out, man, I'm not getting any leads, right?
Meaning there's no one opting in.
No one's opting in. They're not generating any leads, so they're frustrated. So we need to change the video. We need to change the headline. But in reality, why did you even do that? Really, you want the lead, but you want them to do the next page. What you really want is them to get to the next page so they can even buy anything. So then what happens is you start getting them to opt in, they get to that next page, and no one's buying and no one's doing. So you don't know where the problem is right now at this point. So now you're trying to fix the opt-in page, and then you're trying to fix the webinar, and you're changing all this stuff. And then, okay, now we're getting clicks, but no one's buying. So before you can even really go anywhere, the client is already just exhausted at this point. So I'm like, this is just a ridiculously long process. At the end of the day, what we really want is for people to get to that second step.
But still collecting their contact information.
Still collect their contact information. Now you're going to see the power of what eBooth does. So I said, well, why am we just giving up this or paying this tax? And what I mean by this tax is the best marketers in the world, myself, other people, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be lucky to get 35% opt-in rate, right? You might have spells.
From people who hit the actual lead magnet.
You get 1,000 clicks, you're lucky. Let's say this make it easy. You get 100 clicks. If you're really good, you might get 35 of those people to opt in. But out of those 35, you're going to get probably 10 to 20% of them are bad information. They click off, they never open up a single email. So you're not even truly getting 35%, right? So you're paying a tax. You're paying like a 65% to 80% tax on every single click. And now clicks are over $1, right? So that was a problem that I had. I'm like, why am I just paying this tax? As an entrepreneur, another reason for being an entrepreneur, we learn all the benefits of being an entrepreneur for tax purposes. I started thinking about this. What if there was a way to get people 100% of the traffic to the actual video, right? But still capture the lead. And that's what the software does. So what happens is the video, you can upload the video and you can build what's called basically an opt-in form in the video. We're calling it in-video conversions.
Okay.
So you can send the person directly to the presentation. And let's say in minute 3, you can drop the form and lock the video.
So they've already watched a few minutes, so you're already kind of building value.
Right.
Where what I'm hearing the other way is they get to the page, but in order to access anything, they have to put in their contact information. But there's really like limited value that's been given.
Limited value, and they have to guess, and they only opt in typically out of curiosity, right? What happens is with my funnel now, I have a 1-video funnel, 1-page funnel. They hit a page, the presentation starts, I go through who I am, I go through what I'm going to teach them, and I say this one sentence. And all I ask in return is that you provide me with your name and email to continue watching. And then the form drops and it locks.
So at that, when you say locks, meaning
they can't continue to watch.
Got it.
A little slight twist that we've added is we email now, because once they opt in, the software integrates with all of your CRMs, any autoresponder company, and then you can capture the lead. And it fills the phone, so it looks really cool in the video. Now 100% of your traffic is exposed to your presentation, which is what you wanted in the first place. So when you have a client, now you can just focus on teaching them the presentation and how to make a really good presentation and sell your product versus all these other steps, which you never really know what the problem is. They opt in, the video just continues like nothing.
Yep.
The pixels in terms of tracking, I don't want to get too technical, all fire without the person having to leaving the page. And so tracking is better because you don't have all these pages trying to track with iOS updates, and
which is
causing
wild.
Massive problems right now for people.
Yeah, and when pixel meaning because sometimes whenever you get a lead or whatever and you're trying to sell them something, they life happens, they pop out, etc. But when you have that page pixel or tracked, then you can remarket to that same person, and they're more of a warm or hot lead because they've already had that exposure.
Exactly. So the software, which we're releasing in phase 2, will build those retargeting audiences as well that automatically build in Facebook and Instagram, and so you're getting 100% of the traffic to the page. So if you think about the math, it's just not even fair. Because you go from paying this 65 to 80% tax to 100% of the traffic seeing your offer. I don't even know what the long-term residual effect's going to be, meaning the fact that everyone is seeing the presentation now, even if they don't opt in. You know what I mean? Whereas before, you lost 80%. They never even saw what even saw you or your offer.
Totally. My only question though is they haven't seen the whole, if they decide not to opt in, they haven't seen the whole presentation, but they've seen enough where they at least have an understanding of that.
Right. They've had an understanding, but 100% of them see it. And here's the difference that we've seen. Of the people that opt in, because their guard is down, right? There's no form on the page. It's just a video. 85% of them watch the entire video. Some of them you might be saying, well, how do you stop them from giving you the wrong email? What we do is right after they opt in, I say, hey, there's nothing to buy here. If you're interested in our service, check your inbox for pricing details. So now I just go on and sell my product. I don't sell the price. I don't offer anything.
On the video, it just goes in the email.
It goes, so they have to check their inbox. So our open rates not on the first email, overall now in our system, over 55%. And the click-through rate, which is on average, 2% people click on the link. Our click-through rate, because of this process, is over 44%.
Holy smokes.
Because they really want it. Remember, think about it. They're opting in. They want to continue watching versus opting out of curiosity. So there's these little subtle twists that it does that makes it really powerful. So we're excited. And then you throw on, it's all DRM protected, and we're launching the sales pop. So imagine you want to sell your product. You want to sell a membership subscription. Mm-hmm. Literally, you could just have the video be the whole funnel. You could capture the lead and then right at the end say, hey, get your free coupon or get a week for whatever, for $30, 30 days for $30. Whatever your offer is, and boom, right there, sell it right from the video. No scrolling, no going to another page. Pops up, they can buy it right from the video.
Holy smokes, man.
And integrates with your payment gateway, Stripe, whatever, right there.
And then I was reading a little bit about prior just to prep myself, and when you said the email open rates are ridiculous, it's because really throughout the whole course of the video, maybe at the end, which you just articulated, but you're not really selling anything. You're basically dropping them, and that's where the curiosity, because originally in the old model, the curiosity is just to basically opt in, but you're already giving them value right away. So the curiosity then is to check their email, because people are curious. They want to know what the pricing details
Absolutely.
are.
So if they really, and that gets rid of the tire kickers, because they really want the product. They're going to check their email, and they're going to buy or apply for the call or whatever there. So that's how we're doing it, man. And it's been, when
did you launch it?
We just launched a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
A couple months ago, but we're in beta. So we haven't gone hard. This is our first week of really me even openly really talking about it, because we've been kind of keeping it under wraps. But it's been crazy. It's hard to even hide the excitement, because it's so different, and I don't think people are going to really understand the 100% of the traffic seeing the offer until they do it. You've operated on that tax for so long. So even remember, you're dealing with that 58. We're at about 58% of the people who Well, over the last 7 days, we're at 82%. But on average, we're at about 52% of the people who watch the video in the form pop opt in. Okay, so if you even think about that, of 100% of the traffic. And then those people watch 85% or more of the presentation.
I mean, those numbers are
The numbers
crazy.
are just so crazy. So if you understand math, like it definitely is going to change a lot of businesses.
So you're just launching, it's in beta. Like, I guess my last question around is like, what's your long-term vision?
I want to play big. You know, I stopped the other company for a reason to focus on this. I mean, we want to compete with all the big video hosting platforms out there, the Vimeos and the Wistias. The cool thing is, you know, the world I came from, there was a guru in every corner. So now there's some big boys with a lot of funding. So I'm self-funded, so I have some other challenges, but there's not a lot of them. So I'm competing with a handful of companies versus a guru in every corner. So I'm excited for that challenge, man.
Good for you, man. That's freaking awesome. I do have a question specifically because I've had experience. We built I shouldn't say a custom-made software system for our franchisees, but we partnered and have been building this POS and lead management system, which has been a game changer for, you know, all of our Fit Body locations. And I know how challenging it is. And I'm not a programmer or developer, but like to actually, you know, that process. So I'm curious just to pick your brain from like a business perspective and just a creation perspective. Like, what was that journey like?
So this is self-funded, right? I didn't raise any money, 100%.
That's huge.
But I want to cry at the same time sometimes because the first group we brought in, we basically had to build it twice. Not knowing that, I will tell you, software is the hardest thing to create.
So hard.
It is not easy. Like we didn't go to India and all that. Like these are our teams here in the US. We're up to I think 11 people now. But the first route wasn't like that. So the first route I had a guy I knew and it just didn't go well. Like we started down the process. In fact, we were trying to launch last year. I spoke at Traffic and Conversion Summit last year. I don't remember the date, but it was definitely at least 7-8 months ago. And we just launched. So that tells you like how hard it is. I mean, I wanted to quit. Like we kept paying money and nothing was happening. It was buggy. I'm like, we're gonna start over. So we brought in some experts, brought a team in, and man, it was the best decision. I was very close to saying maybe this is too much, maybe I'm in over my head. It was such a learning lesson. So anybody out there that has experience in SaaS, I welcome and take all advice right now. I'm listening to everyone.
Dude, like I said, I've had a bit in this journey the last 2 years and it's so hard. What would you say, you know, again, you're still going through it because you're in beta and obviously the vision's strong, but what would you say is like a learning lesson or two from that experience in terms of developing and creating software?
I think that you cannot try to cut corners. Right? So not that we went into it thinking we're going to cut corners, but we were trying to save, we were self-funding it. So we were trying to save money here, save money there. So you need a full-on team to build like really good software that's not buggy, that's not slow. That's what we ended up having to do. So don't try to cut corners, like get people that know what they're doing. Another tip I would say is you have to create frameworks of every page and every step and throughout the whole process. So people like you and I, like we could like see the vision. And like my mistake was you talk to, let's say, a programmer about it. Oh, I get it. I see, that's an awesome idea, right? And they start building and it comes back and it's nothing like what you thought.
Correct.
So the second time around, I literally framed out every step of what should happen, right? So I took that away. So if you're gonna build, make sure you give them like almost like it doesn't have to look pretty, but they should know what everything should do. I mean, from where the button should be, what should happen here, all of that. Don't leave it up to the developers to like try to figure that out for you. That'll save you a lot of time and money.
Like crystal clear, like provide that clarity so they can execute against your vision.
Absolutely. And then the last thing I would say is daily check-ins. Like what's the goal of the day and what's going to happen tomorrow, and just try to make sure you meet those. Because sometimes, I don't know why, but developers seem to have these weird brains and schedules where they work a lot and then they're just off the grid and there's a bunch of excuses for like 3 or 4 days and they come back. You have to really set the boundaries before you pay. Don't pay, keep just paying and expecting it. See the progress, create benchmarks and follow them.
Dude, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
That's so valuable. And I wanted to pick your brain because like I said, the
man,
last 2
tough,
years
man.
it's been...
Trust me, a lot of crying myself to sleep at night.
Oh yeah.
With this, man. It was tough.
Copy that. Well done. And I guess from a business model, you don't have to go through price points, but is the vision to be a subscription then model for the software?
It is a subscription model. One of the cool things is we don't charge for overage and bandwidth and all that. So you basically get charged based on the videos you upload. So you could have 1 million views and not get charged $1 gazillion. Like I know a guy I know that does a lot of webinars and stuff. He's paying like $3,000 a month with one of our competitors, and I was like, dude, that would cost you like a fraction of that with us.
Oh, copy.
And one of the reasons is they have a freemium model. So every time you upload a video, just for those of you who just want to know how that industry works, that storage and that bandwidth, that costs money. So the freemium model is expensive. That's why a lot of the big companies aren't even profitable yet. They have a lot of revenue, but they aren't profitable. A lot of people are just uploading videos, sitting on their servers, clogging up space, man.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we don't have a freemium model. That's the difference.
Copy that.
And why we're able to do that.
Man, that's incredible vision. I'm proud of you. I'm really excited to see this next evolution. And yeah, man, what a ride.
Yeah, I'm excited. So,
well, my friend, you've given so much value to this point, but we still have you for another 10 minutes or so. So if you're up for it, we'd love to hit the lightning round with you.
Let's do it.
All right, my friend. Well, passion, you're certainly a passionate guy. What would you say today is one of your biggest passions and why?
My kids, hands down, man. Like, that's it. Just easy answer.
Good on you.
Love hanging out with them.
Next up, and you kind of hinted this a little bit, but you can elaborate, or maybe you have a few zone of geniuses, but what's a zone of genius for Vince? Like, what just comes natural to you that you can see around corners? We'll love your insight.
So the obvious answer is lead generation, but I think that for me is this. So I kind of mentioned like the mindset of like a developer. They're kind of different. They work and then they're gone.
Yep.
I think that I can generate leads and see that perspective, but I also get the business owner side as well. So people can come to me because like I actually get what they're trying to do. I'm not just a guy that learned Facebook ads and know a structure to set that up. Like I can see the whole
strategy,
process, the big picture, right?
Not just the tactic.
Right, exactly. So I think that's probably been my biggest strength.
Dude, love that. Next up, I love this question, especially for our audience who are interested in launching their own businesses and being entrepreneurs. What would you say is a unique value bomb, something that is extremely valuable that most entrepreneurs should know when launching a business, but unfortunately they don't?
Make more offers. That was the whole reason for the software. Like stop losing 80%. How can I make more offers? I stepped back and looked at the core. So what's the core problem? If you made 100 more offers a day, would you make more money?
Yes, sir.
So it's how can you make more offers? Meaning how can you get in front of people where you're actually pitching or selling your product, getting to the point where you're telling them why it's valuable and how they can go get it. Make more of those. Set a goal for yourself to make more of those each and every day than you did the day before.
Let me ask you this. If you have because if you're making more offers, like you're making more funnels, et cetera, like is there a point where you're actually competing with yourself?
Not more funnels, more offers. How do you get to, like, let's say I sold 10 people today. How do I sell 11 tomorrow? I sold 11 today. How do I sell 12? How can you make more offers? That's it.
Copy that.
That to me is the number one. That's the core of everyone's problems. Every business, and I've worked with a lot that do hundreds of millions. And you go and you look at the real reason, they make way more offers than anyone else.
There we go, gold.
Yeah.
All right, next up, and for all the success you've had, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but you can maybe dive deeper, or there's another big low entrepreneurial or even life moment. But what would you say is your lowest entrepreneurial life moment? And of course, like curious on the learning lesson. And the flip side, what's your proudest accomplishment?
So, I mean, there's been a lot of low moments. I think that people always see the success, times where we've made a lot of money. And I mean, I remember some of my early events that we'd have all these people at these live events and they would lose money. And then I'd get hit with like, the hotel would make something up and say, this person didn't hit the room block, you owe 30 grand. So I'd be like in this crazy debt when you thought you were profitable. You think your business is doing good, you look in the bank account, there's no money. So those times are rough. And that's been many times through my journey. I mean, if you talk to any entrepreneur, they have rough times no matter how the success looks. Recently was just having confidence in the decision I just made. Like with COVID, I stopped doing what I was doing, what I've been doing for a decade. And, we actually lost team members through that process. And, I had stopped posting on social. I stopped making videos. I just fell into this, like, just waiting for them to finish this thing. And I was just depressed and like, God, is this thing gonna launch? And recently, as we started kind of coming out of it and just pumped up again, but always mindset, having faith, and that's kind of what got me through.
Heck yeah. Now, on the flip side, what's the proudest?
Man, I'm definitely proud right now. I mean, I think hopefully everyone can kind of feel that.
Oh, yeah.
And not because of it has nothing to do with like potential for money. Just I know it's a useful thing for every business, right? Like I'm so excited to use it for myself. So that's definitely one of my proudest moments. I think also the proudest moment was going live for the people on our team to see. one of the things that I did for our employees that stayed with us from Set Up My Ads, they all got some interest in the company. So I gave them some just for sticking around through that and told them it was going to be rough. So I'm really excited for them. So that's really my proudest moment, to literally have people that worked with me to have ownership in a company that I hope can one day,
be
do
a
some
big
big
disruptor.
things. Yeah. So that's
good on you,
proud for
man.
me. Yeah.
That's awesome. That lights me up. Next up, you're in the business and have been for over a decade of giving great advice, and setting up ads and lead generation and giving good coaching. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've ever received was the wise learns more from the fool than the fool learns from the wise. So what that means is basically, if you ever heard someone, they go, well, like you see it online all the time, someone will do something, they'll, he's failed at 5 businesses. And then you go, well, how many businesses have you started? And what could you learn from the guy that failed in 5 businesses, how not to fail? So the mindset of instead of judging people, I think you can learn from everything. If someone gives you a critique on something that kind of stings, listen to it. They might have some truth in it. I love that. My team knows, don't tell me what I want to hear. I want to hear the truth. I'm not a yes man type of CEO. I want to know the truth. That's how we're going to get better. We need to challenge each other. Yeah, you can learn from both good and bad. In fact, you should probably study both just as hard.
Both. Dude, that's a profound quote. It took me a few seconds to process that. And something similar, but I was watching, it's been a while actually, but a podcast with Tim Ferriss, and he, I think he was talking to Joe Rogan or something. He said one of the biggest mental shifts that, has really enlightened him, made him more wise, is thinking of my arch enemy and figuring out what can I learn from them. And he's like, number one, it actually opens your mind to, hey, the fact that you can actually learn something from him or her, but also it creates empathy and more peace. So a little bit roundabout way and a little bit different, but that's some sage advice there.
Absolutely. Think about that when someone leaves you a negative comment in your social post. You decide to say something positive, someone is just a jerk, says something to you, you feel it all day.
Yep.
Listen to it and just, what I always say is, I appreciate your feedback. To the person that was negative,
yep.
I said, I appreciate your feedback. Thanks for that. I hope you have a great day. And they're like, what? And you feel so much better. Just take that sting out of it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm taking that. All right, next up, last 2, or at least 2 quick ones, and then we'll finish off with my signature question here. But habits, man, and from an entrepreneur, from a D1 athlete, you've had to develop some really strong, beneficial habits in the day. What's been one that's really set you apart?
I mean, definitely fitness. Hands down, your body, if you're not physically strong, part of the thing I remember that got me back was just getting my fitness back right, eating right, working out every day, getting up early, getting my proper rest and sleep. Just the core things that we all know. One of my habits are things like I get up early, I read a chapter of a book every morning. I believe in just doing everything in bite-sized pieces. I tell my daughter, I'm you're gonna make 50 shots a day. You're gonna make 10 shots, not shoot, make 10 shots from each block, 10 free throws, 10 layups on each side every day. That's 50 shots, that's 1,500 shots a month. You've made 1,500 shots. Over a year, guess how many shots you've made? That's it. So just breaking down anything that you wanna do, just don't think of it as huge. Even if you wanna make millions of dollars, you're starting with the gym, how many people need to get in each and every day? And most people think of their business in 8-hour increments. Think of it in 24-hour increments, because if you have the internet, it never stops. How can you stand in front of people? What if you got one person to say yes every hour? That's 24 hours in a day. What does that equal? Now, how could I get 2?
Dude, I love that. I know you're a huge Lakers fan, but I literally had a flashback to Kobe Bryant, who I'm a giant fan. I know you must be as well.
Love him, yeah.
And I love the dude. And he kind of talked about after. Oh, there we go. For those of you who are listening on audio, Vince has some Lakers socks on. But Kobe, after playing in Italy, and then I think after some summer experience, but he realized 3 shots he needed massive help on. So he's like, all right, how I'm going to take the first shot, and then he just freaking nailed that shot, whatever it was. Once he accomplished that, then off to the next. And when you're talking about your daughter hitting the 1,500 shots a day, it literally just had flashbacks.
50 a day is 1,500 a month.
1,500 a month.
Yeah.
You mentioned when you're reading a book and all that. Leaders are readers. You're an incredibly successful CEO. What's a good book recommendation, or it could be a podcast or any piece of learning content that's really made a profound impact in your life that you want to share?
I have a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not good with author names, so I don't remember the authors, but I read a lot of books. I get recommendations. So one of my favorite books recently that I read was The Third Door.
Oh, no.
Have you read that? If you ever wanted to network with great people, and just get in rooms that you just feel like you shouldn't be in, read that book.
The Third Door.
It's so entertaining. It's a very, very good book. The Third Door. My favorite book is a book called The Richest Man Who Ever Lived, and it's actually based on biblical stuff from King Solomon. But I think I do remember the author. That one's Stephen K. Scott.
Okay.
And then a great marketing book, which we're kind of disrupting, is 80-20, Perry Marshall.
Oh, no.
That's a good book for marketers.
80-20?
80-20, yeah.
Noted, my friend. Well, dude, and this has been awesome. I have one final kind of signature sign-off question. And, again, our audience are just hungry. They're interested in fitness and business and entrepreneurship and personal growth and really launching, their business and knowing they're meant for something more and really realizing that. What would you say, Vince, is your last piece of parting wisdom to help them on their journey?
It's very simple. Like, you're either growing or you're dying. Like, you have to always continue to get better. I have been really blessed to get in rooms with some really cool people. And so every time I'm in that room, I just step back and I just go, why are these people in this room? They don't have to be here. Do you ever think about, I don't know if you've ever stepped back and they already have everything because they realize you're either growing or you're dying. And then you go talk to someone else, like if you get invited to an event or something, they're, well, why are you wasting your money on that thing? Like, they're the ones struggling and never in those rooms. So I would just challenge everyone to invest in themselves and just really strive to get comfortable being uncomfortable and do things that that you haven't ordinarily done. Get into masterminds, reach out to people that have had success, and really make that an emphasis. That was hands down the thing that changed my life. Like, when I started investing in higher priced coaches and mentors, it changed because I never could sell high end until I invested in high end. I couldn't, build software until I paid the monthly subscription. If you see my list of things I pay for, so I use a lot of software. Like, you have to practice what you preach. I truly believe that. So,
amen, man.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more. Vince, this has been awesome. Before we wrap today, where can our audience connect with you? At
Instagram, Vince Reed Live. Connect with me there.
Easy enough. Well, my friend, I just wanted to take a second. It's been a few years, and we were just talking offline before COVID, but man, you made a big impact, and just seeing your success over the years, and just who you are as a dude, family man, and focused at life, at family, at business, and just wanted to be someone more. I have a lot of respect for that. I really appreciate our friendship, and I'm excited you came out and shot with us here in Chino Hills.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it anytime.
All right, my friends, I know you had a ton of value today. I certainly did, which means you did as well. Assuming they did, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and write us an incredible review on iTunes. That way we can keep producing this content for you for free. So that's all for today. Vince, my man, thank you again.
Appreciate you, brother.
It's been a pleasure. Anytime. And see you, friends, in the next episode.